What the fuck is up, guys? This is Wet, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about Team FuF and basically tell you guys what's been going on with the competitive team for Fearless Under Fire and our current roster. Basically, to introduce you guys to our current roster, which is Tfly, Feeble, Uncut, and FuF. And that's our new roster for Anaheim. They are on a trial basis basically to see how they do at Anaheim, and depending on how they do at Anaheim, they'll get the full sponsorship that I offer, or they'll get something. But anyways, let's start from the beginning. As most of you guys know, back in December, I think I hosted a 4v4 tournament to find a team that would represent FUF in the competitive scene, and Motivation won. That was Rex, Blank, Enigma, and Temp. And I couldn't be happier with the guys. I actually liked that team quite a lot. They were really, they were a really solid team. And we had planned on going to Dallas, and we had bought the team pass. We had started playing the open qualifier, or yeah, the pre-qualifier. I'm sorry, and it didn't go too well in the pre-qualifier. We actually, I think, won maybe 2 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds. So we had to go through after we got knocked out in the pre-qualifier. We knew we had to go through open bracket at Dallas. But 3 weeks before Dallas, 3 or 2 weeks before Dallas, Rex and Blank couldn't go to Dallas, so I pressured Temp into finding me a team for Dallas, just because we had the team pass already, and so I wanted to, and I really wanted a team that would represent FUF at Dallas, and so he ended up picking up Pinnacle, which was composed of Prop, Nix, and Shurzy, which I think that was my mistake in picking those guys up. Not because they're bad players, just because they were not ready as a team. Chemistry wasn't there, and I hadn't seen them play really. I just went off by the word of Temp, and so they they had a lot of drama. I think a week before Dallas, they ended up dropping Sherbsy and then trying to pick up someone like Sander, and I even got Sander a jersey. And then like a day later, they ended up picking up Sherbsy again. So I should have seen it coming that it was going to be like that, with a lot of roster changes, which is never good because you just don't build the chemistry that you need. And so, anyways, they went to Dallas. They got double first rounded. After Dallas, they came back. Temp basically quit. He said he was gonna quit Black Ops 2, and so he did. He basically quit for 2 months, and I ended up staying with Prop and Nix, and they started building a roster. And it was I think it was my mistake staying with those guys, just because every other day they had a new roster. I was asked to send new people contracts every other day, and so it was just my mistake. But anyways, they ended up dropping Nix, and they started running with Magic and Stun. Stun was from Cloudburst, and after a few days, they wanted to drop Stun and pick up Yoshi. And if you guys know anything about the community and actually know Yoshi, you know that he does not have the best reputation in the community, and that's something that I did not want to be a part of. And so I basically told Magic and Prop that I wasn't gonna pick up Yoshi, and so they decided to go their own way, which was fine. I honestly was not going to keep them around with Yoshi. And so I ended up, asked me if I could basically sponsor him and him stay on FuF. And so he is a good player, so I decided to go ahead and do that. Like I said, he was on Cloudburst. He actually plays 17th. Now their team didn't do so well at Dallas. They actually placed 17th because they went into the championship bracket through the pre-qualifier. At Dallas, they basically also got double first rounded, but from what I saw and what I had seen in scrims, Stun was a good player, and he is a good player, and so I decided to stay with him. And then so he was running with a lot of good people, a lot of well-known people, a lot of top AMs, and he was building some pretty good rosters. But in the end, I don't know if it was. I don't want to say it was completely his fault. I think his judge of character wasn't the best, and he was picking up a lot of well-known people. But as you probably know, I mean, a lot of well-known people will sketch on you if they get a better offer from a better known name or whatever, and that's what was basically what was happening. He built a few really good solid teams, but in the end they would sketch on him for another team. And so we dealt with that for like 2 months basically, and after that Anaheim was getting closer. And so I basically gave him an ultimatum and told him, build me a roster or else we're not going to Anaheim and I might be dropping you. And so he wasn't able to build a roster. Again, people sketched on him or whatever. And so I decided to, I told him I'm not sending a team to Anaheim. I told him I'll give you the chance to still build the roster, but I'm not sending you guys to Anaheim, just because Anaheim was so close now, and everything was going to be basically more expensive. And also, I wanted to make sure that the team that he picked up was loyal and was going to stay with him. Any team that agreed to come along aboard with Stun and knew that I wasn't going to send him to Anaheim, I pretty much could guarantee that they would be loyal. But anyways, he picked up a team, and they decided to say that they were going to Anaheim, and so we parted ways with Stun because he wanted to go with Anaheim. At that point, I got a lot of offers from a whole bunch of teams, and one of the teams was Tfly, FuF, Uncut, and Feeble, and they basically offered me something that I couldn't refuse, and basically to represent FuF at Anaheim. And so I decided to pick them up after I saw them scrim. I really like how their communication is, their maturity level, and their chemistry is great. And so we picked them up, and we also signed Miss Black Dahlia from the Red Shoe Rebels to be our team manager. And so, that's basically our team now. It's Feeble, Tfly, FuF, and Uncut. And what I like about these guys is, honestly, I really like this team just because their chemistry is so good. Their communication is really good. They don't get down when they lose a map. They let it go. A lot of teams get down and get pissed off and let that affect them. And these guys don't. They pump each other up. They motivate each other. And even when they call each other out on mistakes, they don't get upset with each other. A lot of teams have that problem when one of your teammates calls you out on a mistake you made. They'll get pissed off and they won't listen. And these guys don't. They do, and what they do is they do it after the game's over. They don't do it while the game is going. And so I like, I really like their maturity and their communication skills and everything. And so I have a good feeling about this. And so yeah, this is our new team for Anaheim, and we'll see what happens after Anaheim. Hopefully, you guys, everyone supports these guys and goes. I'm gonna put everyone's basically their Twitter and their information in this description. That way, you guys could go follow them and sub to them. Anyways, thanks for watching. Later, guys.